Well, let me say good morning again, everyone. Welcome, welcome, welcome to another ladies' room. Just let me share and give you guys a couple of seconds to come back into the room. Good morning, Queen Bee. Good morning, Natty. Thank you so much, Mary, and thank you guys coming into the room. Just want to catch up a bit this morning. No, I've been out of commission for the last month, so y'all need to chill. Good morning, Jillian. Good morning, Kizzy. Good morning, Candy. Linda, good morning. Thank you so much. Good morning, Chad. Chade. Hope I got it right. Good morning, Deidre. Good morning, Julianne. Linda, good morning. Nessa, good morning. Who am I missing? Shane, Chad, Shane, hi. Thank you so much. Heinz, thank you so much. Is it Chade or is it Chad? Is it? I think it's Chade. Anyway, thanks so much, guys. Appreciate you as always. Um, Candy, that's not long enough. Listen, and I'm gonna talk about that in a while. But for everybody that's been on the rock, that's on the rock for the last year, well, year and let's say about 9 months. If you have not left the rock at any point in time, I know you're dying to leave to get, you know, to just breathe for a little bit, taking some different energy and different vibe because I ain't gonna lie, it was beginning to get very depressing. It was, it was a needed trip because, with all that's been happening, the lockdown and the energy was just so heavy, it just wasn't right. You needed to break away for a few. Good morning, Brian. Thank you so much. It's good to be back with you guys. Um, am I missing somebody? Hi, Teddy. Yeah, it's good to be back. I hope I did not miss it. Come on, guys, share the live and let's talk. What's been happening? What y'all been up to? Yeah, I've been off the grid, and I decided, you know what? And I usually do that when I'm on vacation because vacation is a break from what life as you know it. Take a break from everything. So I usually do that. I don't listen much to the radio. I tune in, different spots here and there, but also social media because normally in daily lives it consumes us. So when you're on vacation, it's the whole point of a vacation is to take a break, detox from all these things. If you're still into it 100, then it's pointless. It defeats the purpose of a vacation. So I've been kind of out of the loop, and as much as I tried a lot not to get consumed with the data and the news and the information. I would tune in every now and again, or check the Facebook pages every now and again to get some updates. But then I'm like, you know what, this is all actually defeating the purpose because this is what I needed a break from. But here I am every day checking religiously, checking the board, checking the stats, checking how many people, how many new cases, how many people died. And you started feeling that heaviness again. At one point, you know, when I checked my Facebook, at one point, all I saw coming down the timeline was rest in peace, rest in peace, rest in peace. There was hardly a day that I did not see a couple rest in peace, from Facebook acquaintances, and it really was too much to handle. And this morning, I want to sort of tie that in with what I want to talk about. Yesterday being World Mental Health Day, and the importance of taking care of your mental health, because folks, you may not realize it, but sometimes you're not even aware, but you are drawn in and sucked into things that depletes your energy, that really, really depletes your energy, and you may not even be aware of how stressed you are. The anxiety, the stresses of taking on things that sometimes don't directly concern you. But if you like me, I'm an empath. And when people offload on me, I sort of take in their energy, and then it burdens you and you're stressed. So in this period, we have to be very careful. I know people want to offload, I know people want to dump, but you have to be very careful of who and how much you actually take on, because you could be doing harm to yourself. We're doing a lot of talk about building our immune system and our immunity and what have you. And stress is one of the things that can really disrupt your immune system. And anxiety, stressing and worrying, they aren't great germ fighters. And according to a survey, it says just having anxious thoughts can weaken your immune response in as little as 30 minutes. And constant stress takes on an even bigger toll and makes it harder to fight off flu and viruses and what have you. So it is very, very important to deal with your mental health, to not allow yourself to be overly stressed. We all have stress. We can't run away from stress, but it's how you deal with it. And I'm not one that's good at dealing with stress. You know, internalize, you hold on to things, and before you know it, you start feeling really depressed. And it's a lot to deal with, especially in this time where folks are finding it hard to make ends meet. Folks are, whether you're self-employed or you're working with somebody, and customers aren't coming through the door as they usually do, and employers are having a hard time meeting their payroll or meeting their commitments. It is a stressful time for everyone. I hardly think there's a person alive now that can say, you know what, I have no stress whatsoever. I am stress has no place here. But what we can do is work on controlling it. We have to work on controlling it. So I spent most of it in rest, just resting. Didn't even go out much or partied or did the usual when it's summer, when you hang out, backyard party here, there, and everywhere. Didn't even engage in that because um I'm not gonna lie, I'm not ready for the huge crowd. I tried one event and that anxiety was there. At some point, I literally had to stop myself from sanitizing, like literally every second. My sanitizer was just in my hand, and I've got like 4 or 5 little bottles of sanitizers, and just, every second, the need to sanitize because there was this anxiety, this fear. Because I think by now we all may, or we probably know of somebody who contacted the virus, who came into contact with someone or something, some experience with the virus. And some of the stories I've heard, I really don't want to get this virus, I swear. And I'm going to do everything I can to protect myself. I really, really, really don't want to, because some of the horror stories I've heard, it is it is not a place that I want to be. So I'm going to do everything that's within my control to protect myself. Yeah. So again, good morning, Jackie. I missed you. I haven't seen you around for a while. I realized you took a break like I did. And that's a good thing. And it's nothing's wrong with tuning out. Sometimes it's okay to tune out. And it's was it was it this was it last Friday? When was it that Facebook, WhatsApp, and Instagram went down? And to me, that was the most peaceful day of my life. I didn't have to check. There was no need to check. And I think Mark need to do it 2 or 3 times a week, because it's only then you realize how addicted you are to these things. It's like, you don't have anything in the fridge, right? But you go to the fridge and you open it and you're standing there looking in it. But there's nothing. You didn't put anything in there that you want to eat. It's the same with social media and Facebook. There's nothing there that you really need, but you just find yourself checking. And it's almost like second nature. You don't even think about it. You just pick up your phone and automatically, first thing in the morning, you checking. And these things can be very addictive. And if you're not careful, it can be a source of stress. It can add to your stresses and your depression, because I had to take a break, because it seems there are some folks, their aim in life is just to make everybody else miserable, you know? And like every day it's just this negative energy, and it's always something to complain about, and it's always a fight. And we don't agree on something and it has to be a fight. You post a status, I respond, I give you my opinion, and you want to fight with me. Or I post mine, you don't agree with me, and it's like a constant fight and a battle, and we just not in a place where we agree to disagree and move along. Imagine a world where we all felt the same, thought the same, did the same. How boring and monotonous that would be, that we all felt and did the same things. So it's okay to have different opinions. It's okay to respect that, hey, I'm for vaccination, or this person is against it. And it became too much. So it's okay to take a break sometimes, log out. Not just don't go, log out completely. Find days where you say, you know what, today's my no social media day. Whatever day it is, I'm taking a complete break and just focus on me. Let me do some meditation. Let me do some yoga. Let me do some exercise. Let me do something. Now more than ever, self. It does not make you selfish. Self first. Because if you can't take care of you, you can't take care of nobody else. So we need to pour a little bit more into ourselves, take care of ourselves, and not allow yourselves to be drawn into all the dogma and the fighting and the everyday the bickering, and because it can do a number on you. It can really take a toll on you. Yeah. Everyone, according to Candy, has been super stressed. Everybody's in a state of stress. So we have to be very careful. And especially folks who have children. Make sure you're checking on your children. Don't think for a minute that they too aren't stressed by what's going on. The fact that they can't socialize, they're not in the classrooms, they're not able to be out there like that. They have to be cooped up indoors for most of the day, doing online classes. Make sure you check on them as well. Don't think because you're the adult that you're the only one with stresses and problems. They too are affected by this. This isn't normal for them. As adults, you're better able to cope with things, and you might think children are. Yes, they're adaptable, but there are things that they may not say anything about, or they may not speak on, but that does not mean they're not internalizing it and they're stressing as well. When am I going back to school? When am I seeing my best friend again? Where am I meeting up and go, especially if they're involved in extracurricular activities, sports, what have you? When am I going to be on the field again? When will I be running again? When will I be doing this, that, or the other? So make sure that you check on them. Yeah. Ari says the COVID updates, the RIP posts, and the vaccinated and unvaccinated war was just overwhelming. Just exit as soon as I see posts related to that. I'm telling you, that's how it got. It got to a point where you just exit stage right. You came in and you just left. It is a lot, and not was, it is a lot. And another thing that I realized upon my return, of course, the PM would have made update changes to the regulations. Thank God I did not get to experience a no movement weekend. The no movement weekend, you are now able to move around freely. And if you're checking the stats, you realize as well that the numbers have are decreasing, and we gotta give thanks for that. The rate that folks are recovering, we have to give thanks for that. Still would like to see zero by deaths, but I guess that will come in time if we continue to do what we have to do. But what I realized is that we are so quick to get complacent and back to a state of where we were. Imagine the first weekend, no lockdown, and people are all over, all out with no mask, and you're seeing them gathering by the bars and what have you. And it's like sometimes you ask yourself, like, do we have or do we need this big stick mentality where somebody must be standing over you telling you what not to do time and time again? Imagine the very first week you get a time to free up, and people are already literally freeing up because you're seeing the numbers decreasing. So you know what? It's okay for me to get to a state of complacency. We saw how quickly we got to the thousands. Give thanks that we're now in the hundreds. And people are just back in chill mode, like whatever. Like somebody standing next to them has their sign saying, okay, I don't have COVID, or they have a test to prove that they don't have COVID. People are just back to normal. And it's like, why? We're not even out of the woods yet. We're not even clear yet. Yes, we're seeing some signs of, the numbers decreasing, but that does not mean we are where we're supposed to be as yet. And it's adults, not even children. It's adults. Like, I just don't get it. I really don't get it. We can't afford to get complacent yet. We're not at that part yet. Good morning, Roger Duncan. Thank you so much. I see you starring on social media. Well deserved accolades. Definitely well deserved accolades. Good morning, Katie. Yeah, you can get your stuff as well. Um, Harry says the funny thing is, Aruna, that the careless persons aren't the ones getting sick. It's the people that's actually trying to follow protocols. And that leads me to my next train of thought, which is the elderly. The elderly who aren't going anywhere, they aren't exposed, they're not out there doing being careless, they're at home. They don't do anything except get up in the morning and do whatever at home. And if we look at the stats where deaths were concerned, the amount of elderly that died, that succumbed to COVID-19, or two elderly folks out there in Caracu, 100 plus years, look what took their lives. Is the folks who are being careful, and the ones who are just playing the fool with no care, endangering their lives. How is that fair though? They're doing what they're supposed to do. They're at home, trying to stay safe. And you are there playing the fool with no concern. You're bringing it home to your elderly parents or your grandparents or your great grandparents. And you don't see anything wrong with that. It's like you have to, like, assign a police officer to every home, or every person, to ensure that they do what they're supposed to do. People are just all over. Like, you're free this weekend, so you know what? Let me do everything I have to do in case they lock us up again next weekend. People are acting like they're gonna die, or the world is gonna end if they don't get a drink or do something. You can still get your drink and be safe. You're drinking, of course, you must remove your mask to drink. You will put it back on. But people are in each other's faces talking, no mask, and drinking and having a jolly good time. And that I don't understand. Like I said, my level of paranoia and my anxiety, the way it's set up, I'm not interested in being in any crowd, or even allowing myself, to be to be close to anybody like that. Thank you so much, Andrea. It's good to be back. Hope you guys are doing okay. Keon says that should be ruled as murder. Now, how do you? My thought exactly. How do you feel? You go home and you're all over the place doing all sorts of crazy stuff, not wearing your mask, not sanitizing, not observing the protocols, and then you next minute you have the virus, and then you pass it on to your mom or your dad or your grandmother or grandfather or some elderly person in the home. How do you feel hearing that the person died as a result of COVID, and you were the one who brought it home? I'm not saying that you can't do all that you're supposed to do and still get it, but for those who are being, like, blatantly careless in the way they move and the things they do, how do you feel? Someone says, I see nothing wrong with people exercising their freedom to do whatever they want. And that right there is the problem. I see nothing. Listen to this comment. Kinnaz Richard says, I see nothing wrong with people exercising their freedom to do whatever they want. They should have rights to do so. You can compare them. Children, in fact, that is what adults should be doing, exercising their rights to freedom of movement. Kenneth, are you, like, serious? Or Kenneth, or whatever is your name. Are you, like, serious? Like, in this COVID-19 period where we had 100 plus, almost 200 people dying as a result, how many hospitalized? You're saying you see nothing wrong with people exercising their freedom to do whatever. It's people like you that is the problem. You see nothing wrong with people exercising their freedom to do whatever they want, even if that means endangering the lives of people at home, of their elderly parents and guardians, or whatever the case might be. You see nothing wrong with people doing that in this COVID-19 period, which is putting a burden on the health system, which is affecting your family, children can return to the classrooms, etc. You see nothing wrong with people just going all over the place, not wearing their mask, having a good time. And that is why I say you have to protect yourself, because there are people out there who actually think like that. And there you have it. Mr. Richards thinks that way. So that is why you have to protect yourself, because Mr. Richards and others like him, they don't care. So you have to care about yourself and ensure that you are safe, because there are others who seem to think that we're still in 2018, 2017, when there were no COVID 19 and life was as normal as we knew it. There are people who actually believe that COVID does not exist, and these people are just creating these things to control and take away your freedom. Even though the evidence is right before their eyes, even if they've seen people who died from it or heard of or know of people who contracted the virus. That is why you have to take care of yourself. Sometimes you want to say more, but you can't because it's radio. You're not on. I'm not on my private platform, so you have to be careful about what you actually say. So I'm censoring myself. And like I said, I just came off vacation. I'm still in my Zen. I'm still in my Wusa mode. So not gonna get drawn in, because they're actually people that's why I said actually you see people saying those things on social media. They're trolling you, and they bait you into responding, and before you know it, you're there typing away and you're forgetting to breathe, and your pressure and your anxiety and stress levels are going up, and you're there trying to make this person see sense and understand. Anyway, someone says I'm fed up with this mask. I'm fully vaccinated and good. I even have my digital vax card. England has herd immunity and they're freeing up now. Now I'm hearing radio host I'm not ready for you. Where did you go? Yeah, now I'm hearing and planning protests for their so-called rights. Hey, what can you do? What can you do? At the end of the day, we're all fed up of wearing this mask. I am totally fed up of it. It's uncomfortable. It's annoying. But what can you do? It's what it is now, and we have not reached this herd immunity status as yet. So you're seeing the numbers dwindling. We realized when we had the number of daily cases rising, people were going out to get vaccinated. But now you're looking at the board, you're seeing the numbers are going down again in terms of the amount of people going out to get vaccinated. So it's like every time something happens, and I've seen it other places, whenever there's an increase in cases, people rush to get vaccinated. And when it starts to dwindle, people refrain from going to get vaccinated. At the end of the day, my takeaway from all of this is you do what you think is best for you, because you can't depend on somebody else to protect you. You have to protect you, because there are people who actually don't care. So you have to protect yourself. Yeah. That's as much as you can do. You can't force you can't force people to be careful and concerned about their own lives. You really can't, because if they don't see the need, why should you? Why should you? How much time we've got? Okay, getting ready to wrap up in just a bit. And it's sad because you don't live as Claude. You're right. You don't live in a vacuum by yourself. You're amongst other people, and to have people thinking and saying those things, it's one thing to think it, but to you know verbalize it, it is a sad state of affairs. So you're saying the rules and laws are absolutely sensible. That's why I said I can't be like a politician, because I would be one of those politicians. And people don't like what's his name? What's his face? Is it Gaston Brown? People don't like him much because of his ideologies and some of the things and that he says. But I kind of get him because when you're trying to lead people down a path and they're resisting and they want to go in another direction and listening to other people and not listening to folks who are experienced or who know what they're talking about. I swear, if I were a politician, I'd be like, you know what? Do whatever they want. It'll be a case of who live, live, who die, die. Because people insist or seem to think that we are in 2018, early 2019 times, 2017, 15, 16. And people are just telling you or just taking away your rights for absolutely no reason. And there's no justification. So let people do what they want. If people feel that their rights are being trampled on and some of the rules are not making sense, then you do whatever you want. Free up yourself. Do whatever you want. But the thing is, when you do that, and God forbid you were to get sick, you're running to the same system that you complain about is playing with your rights to get help and exposing other people. Sometimes I listen to some programs and I read certain statuses and I'm like, what do people really want? Do people really know what they want? Do people really, really know what they want? Or do they even care? Because folks are behaving like it's normal, regular, old, smegular times. And they're hearing about the rights and taking away of rights as if it's, like I said, 2015, 16, 17, regular times, no COVID, no nothing. And people are just putting you under curfew and you have to follow regulations and you have to wear mask. Well, if you don't want to go under curfew, be out anytime you feel like. You don't want to wear your mask, don't wear your mask. At the end of the day, nobody can't force you, but like in everything else, there are consequences. The choices we make, as Roger says, we've got to be prepared to live with it or die with it. And that's it, basically. Mr. Gaston is an Aquarian. He is? For real? I did not know that. Well, that explains it. Now I understand why I actually like the man. And I can relate to him. No, because listen, us Aquarians, it's either black or white for us. We don't do the colors and maybe well and in between. It's either black or it's white. And it's either you for something or you against it. Now I understand. I need to go Google Gaston date of birth. I didn't know he was an Aquarian. Somebody saying Gaston is an Aquarian just like me. Now I know why I feel like I like the man. But it's no jokes aside. It's sad though. At the end of the day, you can't force people. There will always be some who feel this way or that way about whatever it is. And like Roger says, the choices we make, we've got to be prepared to live with it or die with it. But my only thing is the folks who don't deserve it are the ones who are succumbing. The elderly folks who are at home, elderly mom, dad, grandma, grandpa, are the ones. Yeah? So, Jeanette, Wendy, and Foray, good morning. I am so good. Yeah, so, just before we wrap up again, I just want to remind folks about the importance of taking care of your mental health. Yesterday, like I said, it was World Mental Health Day, and it's also month of the elderly. So, I'd really like some more focus to be, you know, placed on the elderly. They've been having a difficult time with this COVID. So just want to keep them in our thoughts and in our prayers. And remember, World Mental Health Day, let us guard our minds and be intentional about taking care of our mental health. Make it a priority to take care of you because nobody else is going to do it. And there are folks out there, frankly, who don't care about your mental health. All right? So let's guard our minds. Let's be intentional about taking care of our mental health. There is no shame in recognizing when we may need help. Our emotional well being and mental health can be affected by many things: stressful situations, um, bereavement, grief, illness, trauma, genetics, you name it. It's okay to say you're not okay. It's okay to recognize and accept your feelings so that you can process them in a healthy way. And also remember, you are loved. You are stamped with worth and value from a creator. You are special. You're unique. There is no one else just like you. You deserve happiness and, most importantly, self care. All right? Self care is extremely important. Eat well, exercise, take as many breaks as you may need. Talk about your feelings in a trusted environment with someone you can trust, because we know how that goes these days. People just want to know your business so they can pass it along to say they got it from the horse's mouth and not necessarily because they care. So that too might add more to your stress than anything else. And that's another reason so many decide to keep the problems to themselves, internalize their own problems, and then they end up depressed because they don't think there are people they can trust. So it is important that whoever you choose to speak to, that it is a trusted individual. It's a trusted environment. All right. Not because you need to talk, you just talk, and then you hear everything you discuss with the person all over the streets, and that might stress you even further. All righty. So again, let's take care of our health and, as much as we can, each other. All right. So let me see if I can get a couple comments. Hence the reason I believe those who refuse to comply to the rules, regulations, and protocols shouldn't have access to the same resources um, as those who complied. Well, I mean, that would be inhumane. At the end of the day, whether they complied or not, still everybody still deserve. That is one of the things that we have to live with. You have to, whether or not you complied or didn't comply, if you need help, you gotta get it. System can't say, well, you didn't wear a mask, you didn't do this, so we're not gonna take care of you, or we're not gonna give you health. Um, we're not gonna give you the support that you need. Unfortunately, it don't work that way. So thanks so much, guys. We'll be back tomorrow and continue where we left off um with our conversations. And like I said, good to be back, and I hope you guys will continue to take care of you. All right, because nobody else will do that for you. Guard your mental health and take care, protect your space, and of course your energy. If you need to take a break, do that. You need to detox, do that. You need to come off social media for a break, for a breather, do that. Anything that works for you, do it, and not get drawn into the everyday back and forth and confusion and whatever. I know it can be a lot. Alrighty, Deidre, you're doing what I said not to do. You're getting drawn in. Relax. Don't get drawn in. That is what they do. They pull you in, and before you know it, you're stressed trying to make them see your point and get your point of view and understand it. Get out, get out, get out. Once you realize, hey, you know what? You can't make a person see six when they're seeing nine, leave it alone. Because you're gonna be going back and forth for the longest while trying to make them see it's a nine, it's a six when when they're saying it's a nine. Disengage. You had to know when to fall back, because they, trust me, when those people start going at it, they don't give up. They can go for the entire day. Somebody have to disengage. All right. To get out. Did you step away, you took the bait. That's what I'm telling you guys about. Stop taking the bait, because these people, when they go like that, they could go for the entire day. When they're like that, they can go for the entire day. And try as hard as you can, they're not going to see your point. They just don't get where you're coming from. Yeah. And they're skilled at trolling you and getting you to take their bait. So step away. I'll see you guys tomorrow. Thank you so much for another for the very first one. for our ladies' room. So thank you so much to our good friends at Esquimalt Variety Store. Thank you so much, Beacon Insurance, for making our ladies' room possible. And thank you so much to Western Union for sticking with us. All right. Same time, same place tomorrow. We're here for another one. Catch you guys then.